Being a smart buyer in 2026 isn't about finding a deal. It's about seeing through the noise and picking a 9mm pistol that doesn't turn into regret a month later. I've stood in too many gun shops watching guys brag about their smart buy, then try to offload it weeks later. I've made those mistakes myself, thinking I outsmarted the game, only to get burned. What sets real smart buyers apart isn't more lists or better reviews. It's knowing which 9mm pistols still make sense after the honeymoon wears off, when the excitement fades and reality takes over. Most people think they're smart buyers for the same reason. That confidence is usually what burns them. Stick it out, because one gun on this list exposes that mistake better than any review ever could. Miss it, and you'll walk into the same trap that's cost shooters time, money, and trust for years. A few months back, I found myself killing time in my usual barbershop, while the old-timers argued about real 9mm pistols. I tried to mind my own business, but before long, one of them called me out for carrying plastic, grinning as he set his scratched-up CZ75 SP01 right on the counter. He swore no modern gun could outlast it. I shrugged it off, but his challenge stuck in my head the rest of the week. By Saturday, we met at the local range. Me, with my trusted carry, him with a tank of a CZ. I'd expected the old steel gun to feel sluggish, maybe even jam, just to prove a point. Instead, it ran like a machine. Every shot felt balanced and heavy, in a way my polymer never quite matched. I kept trying to find its weakness, but the damn thing just kept running. When we finished, I packed up quieter than usual. I wasn't about to trade in my everyday piece, but the SP01 earned something I didn't expect. My respect. There's a reason those old guys never let it out of their sight. Turns out sometimes the smartest buy is the one that never needed a second chance. I picked up the Ruger Security 9 thinking I'd outsmarted the system, got a solid deal, called it my budget backup, and tossed it in the glove box without much thought. It always felt like a practical buy, nothing to brag about, but enough to keep the just-in-case voice in my head quiet. One night, I was running late down a stretch of Texas highway, dead tired, low on gas. I pulled into a half-lit station, the kind that looks abandoned, even when the pumps work. Only one other car in the lot, old sedan, engine idling, driver leaning just a little too far out the window. I felt that twitch of worry and reached for the Ruger. That's when it hit me. I barely knew the gun. The grip felt awkward, safety stiffer than I remembered, and for a split second I second-guessed everything. Nothing happened that night, but the regret lingered. I never carried the Security 9 again. It sits in my safe. A cheap lesson staring back every time I think about cutting corners. Maybe it was smart money, or maybe it was the price of not trusting your own backup. A buddy of mine, Houston cop, ran his FN 509 Tactical like it was part of his uniform. For years, I never paid it much attention, figured it was just another tactical hunk that regular folks buy for bragging rights and let gather dust. He finally wore me down at the private range, pushing his pistol into my hands with that look that says, "You're about to learn something." Right away, the thing felt like a brick. Big controls, heavy frame, none of the light snap you get with most 9mm in the case. I expected to hate every round, but the more I shot, the less room there was for excuses. Didn't matter if the ammo was cheap or hot, magazines full or half empty. Nothing rattled that gun. No jams, no fussy reloads. Just a sense that you could run it dirty, rain or shine, and it'd eat whatever you gave it. Truth is, I never wanted a gun this big, and I never bought one. But after seeing the way it ran for the guys whose jobs depended on it, I quit joking about overkill. Next up, you'll see how trusting less gun can end up being the smarter play, if you know what to look for. I boxed up the Masada Slim and slid it to the back of the closet. No fanfare, no second thoughts, just done. It had been creeping up on me for weeks. First, it was the stiff safety that never broke in. Then the sights started drifting after a couple hundred rounds. And finally, that mag release. Always a little too sharp, a little too stubborn when I needed fast reloads. Every range trip added a new annoyance until one day I just left it at home. What really gets me is how it started out. That first month, I was convinced I'd found the next great carry. The grip felt right, slide was snappy, everything about it seemed like a steal. I shot better groups with the Masada than guns twice its price. And I bragged about my smart buy to anyone who'd listen. Looking back, maybe I just wanted to believe I'd outsmarted everyone. But a smart buy doesn't keep giving you reasons to leave it boxed up. Sometimes the only smart move is to walk away, shut the door, and not look back, no matter how right it felt at the start. Last month at the range, I got bored of all the serious iron everyone was showing off. Nothing but tricked out Glocks and beefy metal monsters. I spotted the Beretta APX A1 sitting in the rental case, looking downright ignored, and figured, why not? Wasn't looking for a fight, just wanted something that didn't feel like a concrete block on my belt. First mag in, I had to double check. This thing was actually fun, light, punchy, and moved like it wanted to dance, not wrestle. Before long, I was burning through boxes of ammo, not even counting rounds, just letting it rip, mag after mag, laughing at how easy it made everything feel. A couple guys even stopped and asked what I was running, thinking maybe I discovered some lost secret. I told them, man, it's just the Beretta. Don't knock it till you try it. Flexing at the counter means nothing if you're not having a good time. The smart buy is the gun that leaves you grinning when the brass hits the ground. Forget the trophies. I'll take the fun every time. See, not every surprise at the range ends with a laugh. Some guns leave a mark for reasons you can't shake off, no matter how much you want to. Walked into a high-end gun shop one afternoon, just planning to window shop. No big plans, no budget blown. The guy behind the counter saw me eyeing the racks and, without a word, put a Wilson Combat SFX9 in my hands. Price tag was enough to make you swallow twice. I nearly handed it back, but the feel of that grip and the clean line stopped me cold. Every surface was slick, tight, zero rattle. The balance, just different. Not hype, just real work and steel. He offered a few rounds out back. I figured, what the hell? Might as well see if the thing shot as good as it looked. First mag out, the groups landed tight. Slide cycled like it was running on rails, and there wasn't a hint of bite, even running it fast. My plan to walk out empty-handed vanished. I knew right then why this one stood out. No pitch needed, no YouTube opinions. When a gun delivers like that, you don't talk yourself into it. You talk yourself out of ever letting it go. That was smart money, plain and simple. And still, not every steel-framed marvel has that effect. The next gun taught me that lesson the hard way. Last year, right in the middle of a Texas summer, I was carrying the Taurus G3C every day. Folks kept calling it the smart man's bargain. Good enough for daily use, easy on the wallet, plenty of backup if you needed it. I started believing it myself, even talked a couple buddies into picking one up. Everything changed one hot Friday at the range. Place was packed, sweat running down my back, and I was running simple drills, nothing fancy. That's when it jammed. Not a limp wrist, not some cheap ammo, clean gun, decent rounds, and it just locked up hard. Felt like the ground dropped out from under me. I tried to clear it, but it took more work than any carry gun ever should. Folks next to me watched, probably wondering if I'd even bothered to test my own piece. That one failure lit me up. All the hype, all that trust, wiped out in a heartbeat. I haven't carried the G3C since. It sits on a shelf as a reminder, a smart buy that turned out to be a stupid risk. There's no coming back from a letdown like that, not when your confidence is on the line. For years, I brushed off the HKVP9 like it was just another flash in the pan. The fanboys online, the price tag, even the look, none of it moved me. Felt like every time someone brought it up, I just tuned it out. I figured I'd seen it all before. Another pistol chasing the crown. All talk, no staying power. Then, about 6 months ago, a buddy at the range handed me his VP9. He just grinned and said, run a few mags. Trust me. I figured, fine, nothing to lose. First shot, I noticed the trigger. Crisp, clean. None of that mush you find in most striker guns. Grip melted into my hand. Controls right where I wanted them. Every mag just kept getting better. By the time I'd put a box of ammo through it, I knew I'd been dead wrong. No drama, no quirks, just a pistol that did everything right without a single complaint. There was a weird kind of pride admitting I'd missed the mark. The VP9 didn't need hype, it just needed a chance. Some guns earn their keep the hard way. This one earned mine, and I'm glad it did. But for every keeper like this, there's always a wild card, the kind that goes from hero to headache in a single afternoon. I learned that lesson the messy way, and it still stings. I used to roll my eyes every time someone hyped up the Canik TP9SF Elite. Turkish-made, bargain bin price. Felt like just another flash deal for folks too cheap to save for a real pistol. I finally grabbed one after a buddy dared me, figuring I'd have a good laugh at the range. First mag, my joke fell flat. The thing shot clean and flat, grouped tight, and ate every type of ammo I fed it. Slide felt slick. Trigger crisper than some guns twice the price. And by the end of the session, I was looking at my own top shelf guns, wondering what I'd really been paying for. That's the truth nobody likes to admit. Sometimes it's your pride, not the pistol, that needs adjusting. I had to eat a little crow and give the Canik its due. That gun earned my respect the hard way, and it taught me to quit looking down my nose at budget picks. But even when you think you've found every surprise, there's always one more waiting at the bottom of the list. The kind of 9mm that plays by its own rules and changes the game the second you pick it up. I've listened to years of arguments about the best 9mm. Every shooter at the range has a different pick. Every gun counter has a new favorite. The loudest voices chase the latest trend, always trying to crown something new. But while all that noise comes and goes, the M&P 9 2.0 Compact keeps showing up. Never the flashiest, never the brag on the forums, but it's there in the hands of people who actually put rounds downrange. I've spotted it at club matches, riding and playing holsters on quiet guys who never need to prove a point, and in the glove boxes of folks who just want something that works. It took me years to notice it, but that's the whole point. This gun isn't about hype or heat-of-the-moment buzz. It just does the job over and over, outlasting the excitement and outshooting half the guns folks can't stop talking about. The smart buy isn't the loudest one on YouTube or the newest release. It's the one you catch people trusting long after the debate died down. That's why this one's sitting at the top, earned, not hyped, and still showing up when it counts. Of course, every list has its wild cards, the guns you almost overlook, or the ones nobody expects to see in a smart buyer's lineup. Stick around because there's one more that might change how you decide what truly deserves a spot in the safe. Every 9mm pistol on this list earned its place through hard lessons. Some were nearly tossed aside, others won trust after everything else failed. No matter how smart we think we are, this game has humbled all of us. The wrong 9mm is always waiting to empty your wallet or your confidence. So what's the smartest 9mm you ever bought? Or the one you ditched too soon only to regret it later? Drop your story below, because these lists only scratch the surface, and the best picks are hiding in real-life experience, not some ad. I'm Steve, and even after all these years, one 9mm still haunts me every time I think I've got it all figured out. Stick around, because your next regret or your keeper might be waiting in the comments.